everybody. If you haven't made your plans for Valentine's already, well, here's something for you to consider. It is a party with a purpose. For the past 6 years, Pepin Heart Institute has hosted a party on February the 14th, no matter what night of the week it falls. And over the years, this one event has helped fund important research projects, community outreach programs, and a whole lot more. This year's theme is In the Heart of Havana, which I have to say I love because my parents are Cuban. We are all about the food this afternoon. In the house, we have Chef Paul Lorraine from Pepin Stuff. He's the executive chef. And also, we're delighted to have in our studios Dr. Charles Lambert, who is the medical director of the Florida Hospital Pepin Heart Institute. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you for having us.
We will have the star of the segment, the food first on TV. I'm sure Dr. Lambert won't mind.
I'm sure he won't. I wish I had something for him to eat, but I wanted to just show him. We're doing some great food at this event. Of course, we love to help out whenever a great charity like this comes along, and the Pepin Heart Hospital is great for us. So we're doing a Havana-themed event. We're going to have great food.
What about the dessert? My guayaba never looks like your guayaba.
Well, we've got a guava roll. Yeah, again, very Cuban, great flavors. And the heart, of course, representing the whole theme of the event is a red velvet cake with a little cream cheese filling and a little strawberry. And this tres leches, of course. And then to make it a little bit different, we put a cherry compote on top with a little bit of cayenne pepper to give it a little sweet and heat. So
I feel badly for Dr. Lambert, who's here listening to all this food. You're not here to talk about the food. I know that this is such an important cause for the hospital. Tell the viewers at home how this fundraiser helps the Pepin Heart Institute.
Well, we've got two beneficiaries this year for the funds that we raise here. One is our LifeScan program, which basically is a comprehensive cardiovascular screening program for people. We're targeting women who die of heart disease more than anything else. The program offers metabolic screening, ultrasound of your carotid, your heart, your aorta, all that.
Serious business.
So we want to make that available to people. The second is the Get Well Network program,
Very interesting.
which we're going to implement hopefully with this fundraiser in the Pepin Heart Institute. That centers around, I'm looking at your wall here, really a patient-centered whiteboard in the room.
Right.
Which serves as a communication tool for patients and families.
Well, we will certainly provide our viewers with more information on our website, also on our Facebook page, so that you can learn more about all the programs that will be funded by this event. Take a look on your screen. Again, folks, this is a beautiful event. If you haven't made plans already, it is in the heart of Havana to benefit the Pepin Heart Institute.
This is ABC Action News.
Do you or someone you know enjoy energy drinks? Now at 6, the reaction some people are having to them and why federal health officials are now stepping in to investigate one brand of these drinks. Good evening, I'm Brendan McLaughlin.
And I'm Wendy Ryan. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a growing concern over energy drinks. Federal officials now say the popular 5-hour energy drink may have been a factor in at least 13 deaths. Health reporter Linda Hurtado joins us now with a closer look at the possible fatal reactions to these drinks. Linda?
Well, Wendy, I found out today that here in Florida, there have been 97 reports of adverse reactions to energy drinks to poison control in the last 3 years. And in many cases, callers complained of scary heart symptoms. It's a small bottle, just 2 ounces, but packs a powerful caffeine punch, equal to 2 cups of coffee.
Tired, groggy.
5-hour Energy led the way in this new and growing segment, energy drinks. But now the federal government and the New York Attorney General's office are investigating claims that it can do more than that. The FDA has received reports of 13 deaths and 33 hospitalizations over the past 4 years, claiming 5-hour Energy was possibly involved.
Now, if someone was to drink multiple cans, which is when we really see a lot of the side effects with this, you're getting up to astronomical amounts, 30, 40 cups of coffee.
But I interviewed a Florida mom who says her son Drew died of a cardiac arrhythmia after consuming only half of a different kind of an energy drink. The caffeine content, she says, wasn't listed. And she adds the medical examiner confirmed her growing suspicion.
And he said, taking into consideration the amount of caffeine he consumed, I would say caffeine played a large part in your son's death.
Heart specialist Dr. Charles Lambert says too much caffeine can have adverse effects on anyone.
One of the cardiac effects is palpitations, a rapid heartbeat. Some people will feel flushed, they'll get red. feel hyper-energized. Some people will get cardiac arrhythmias. People that have coronary disease can precipitate angina or chest pain.
But the manufacturers point out these are just claims being investigated, and there is no proven link between the drinks and the deaths. During an interview with ABC News, the creator of 5 Hour Energy said when used as directed, the caffeine in his product doesn't do any harm.
It's overblown when it's in small quantities. It's like this: water is good, but if you have too much, you drown.
In an unscientific test at Pepin Hart Institute, we had photographer Taylor Vincent drink one 5 Hour Energy drink. 20 minutes later, no change to his heart rate or blood pressure. But Dr. Lambert warns each person reacts differently to different doses of caffeine. And most experts say the fatal dose of caffeine for an adult would be almost impossible to drink, 50 to 60 times what's contained in an energy drink. But critics worry about children with underlying heart problems drinking them. And our state poison control confirms that some of those 97 calls were because toddlers drank energy drinks. Valve disease is a very common problem we can develop as we age. The situation used to require full open heart surgery, but now a Pepin heart surgeon is doing a less invasive repair. We're taking action for your health by showing you how this state-of-the-art procedure works. He had a leaky valve in his heart.
I felt tight in the chest, and it went from shoulder to shoulder, and it felt like somebody was pushing down on my chest.
After a trip to the ER, doctors admitted him and told him he needed surgery to fix the problem. Traditionally, heart valve surgery required that the chest be opened.
Opening the sternum has always been a problem for people and have a painful recovery and a longer recovery time.
Pepin heart surgeon Ernesto Jimenez is the first in the Tampa community to offer this alternative, minimally invasive valve repair.
In the standard approach, the patient has to have his breastbone open and split open with a retractor. In our new way we perform surgery here at the Pepin Heart Hospital, we make a small incision in the chest.
A port is created at the incision site, less than 6 centimeters wide, and the surgeon does the procedure in a high-tech fashion with lasers and cameras.
The incision that he made is only this wide. Okay. He went and did all the work through an incision that's this deep. And it's between two rib bones, and it's above the pectoral muscles in the chest.
That allows the patient to go home sooner, and it allows 50% of all patients to go back to work within 2 to 3 weeks.
I was in the hospital for 5-6 days, and the first week I could feel it start getting more perky and started feeling like my old self.
Well enough to bike off and enjoy the beautiful day. Dr. Jimenez says that less than 5% of the patients he sees can't have their valves repaired. They actually then need valve replacement surgery, usually because they also have a different disease. Keeping young women out of the cath lab and the operating room is the goal of a new study underway at the Pepin Heart Hospital in Tampa. In tonight's Taking Action for Your Health report, I'll show you how you can help determine why more women die of heart attacks than their male counterparts.
Don't smoke no more, girls, please. Don't smoke no more.
Gail Smith wipes away the tears as she tries to influence her sister to give up smoking. Gail is convinced her own bad habit helped land her here in the critical care unit of the Pepin Heart Hospital, recovering from a massive heart attack.
So scary, girl. I ain't never been that scared in my whole life.
Gail is only 48 years old.
I watched my mama pass this way, and she was not much older than me. It's the saddest part, isn't it?
But Gail survived and wants to use this second chance to educate others.
At least I'm still here to tell them.
She's agreed to take part in a national study comparing 2,000 women and 1,000 men who've suffered heart attacks.
The Virgo study is a partnership with Yale University School of Medicine in attempting to understand what are the variants and risk factors and outcomes in women, especially under the age of 55, and why is their morbidity and mortality after a heart attack so much more significant than the same aged men.
Women who are enrolled will be asked to answer an extensive questionnaire. Then they'll come back a month later for a blood draw. And that little bit of effort could result in a lot of information to help us all.
What we really hope to understand is how do the outcomes differ by gender?
The results could help determine whether younger women should take statins or go through other proactive treatments in order to lower their risk and prevent outcomes like Gail's.
I'll go anywhere, I'll tell anybody, because it saved my life if I had to come here. It's hard. I just thank God. I'm too young.
Getting enough blood and oxygen to the body after a heart attack is crucial to survival. Heart doctors at Pepin Heart have a new device that is saving lives. In tonight's Taking Action for Your Health report, I'll show you how it brought back a 54-year-old Zephyr Hills man.
Your lungs are clear. Heart is nice and regular. No abnormal sound. You're doing great, my friend.
John is thankful to be alive.
My symptoms were angina in my arms and my legs. I had no feelings in my toes. I kept falling asleep, and I was having chest pains.
Doctors say his weak heart was failing, and he had blockages in his arteries.
You could see the left main has a tight blockage in there.
They felt John needed open heart bypass surgery, but because his left ventricle only pumped at 20%, doctors feared he would die as soon as they gave him anesthesia. Instead, they used a new device called the Impella pump. Inserted through an artery in the groin up into his heart, it kept his own heart pumping while they opened his arteries in a cath lab without having to go through surgery.
No more blockage.
20 hours later, the pump was slowly withdrawn, and his own heart now pumps at 45%. A big, life-saving change.
No chest pain?
No pains at all. I feel great.
That affects 3 million Americans. Tonight, a local man is dancing to a new beat thanks to the latest weapon for combating irregular heart rhythms known as AFib. In my Taking Action for Your Health report, I'm showing you how ablation therapy works.
You imagine yourself in your kind of lifestyle, and one morning you wake up and you realize something is very different, okay? And you realize this isn't something you can just will to go away, or because you're faint, you're dizzy, it's difficult to stand up.
Larry Martin recalls the day his life changed as his heart went out of its normal rhythm. He tried medication to control what doctors call atrial fibrillation, or AFib, but his medication had to be changed and changed.
So you're kind of tied to this medical umbilical cord.
And he says there were side effects to most of the meds. Then Larry heard about ablation therapy. Dr. Dilip Matthew does this procedure at Florida Hospital Pepin Heart. The doctor threads what's called the thermocool catheter through the veins into the heart. He locates where the abnormal tissue is using a 3D mapping system. Then the catheter delivers radiofrequency energy, which ablates or surgically removes the abnormal areas, creating, the doctor says, scars within the inner lining of the heart.
Our goal is to try and eliminate the abnormal tissue which we think is responsible for atrial fibrillation.
The procedure takes place while the patient is sedated or under general anesthesia.
Soon after the ablation, patients may experience some chest discomfort and shortness of breath for the first few days, but it's a natural healing process.
And in my opinion, it just gives you the freedom to get back to your lifestyle, to be who you were, to do what you want to do, to follow your dreams, and not be tied to that medical umbilical cord.
And if you want more information on ablation therapy, just head over to my Facebook fan page. I'll link you to their website. Just look for Linda Hurtado, WFTS, under pages. I'd also like to hear if you have any ideas for upcoming health stories that we can do in the future.